What's up, everyone?
Welcome to another game collection video. This is the second half of my Switch collection. If you haven't seen the first, I suggest you do. There's some pretty awesome games included on that one. But these are all the games that I have amassed while living up here that weren't shown off. The first batch of games are going to be in no particular order. They're kind of the games that I'm playing every now and then, and the rest will be in alphabetical order for the most part. Lonely Mountains Downhill from Super Rare Games. I've talked about this game before, and it's really awesome. If you're into the Trials series of games, and you like other games like Downhill Domination, that sort of thing, you have this physics-based bike simulator in which you're traversing these very tricky and very fast mountain trails, and the wipeouts are just brutal, and you kind of find out all sorts of shortcuts on the mountain trails and get better and better. It's very addicting, and it's just my sort of game, really. It comes with a nice little slip cover. These guys at Super Rare give these games lots of love, and along with it came some trading cards here that have some blurbs about the different courses and that sort of thing. But it's a really, really awesome game, and I've enjoyed playing this game. I need to get back into it. Super Blood Hockey. This one's kind of weird. It's an 8-bit hockey game, and it's extremely bloody and gory. Like, you can kill people during the fights and that sort of thing. It has a pretty interesting and humorous campaign mode. This one here is like a special edition that comes in different cardboard sleeves and that sort of thing. So here you have the retail release, and you can kind of take a peek at what the gameplay is like, what it looks like, and all the mayhem that could possibly ensue. Full color manual, so that is nice. This game also came with this little challenge card in which you have to do something, and then you take a picture of it, you send proof to the developers, and they mail you a patch. I didn't actually end up doing this challenge, I kind of regret it, but yeah, this is a nice little reminder that I didn't do it. Interesting game. 8BAO! A game which I have covered extensively, at least on my Twitch channel. Streamed it lots of times. It's extremely fun, and I'm still trying to get through the hard mode.
Because I'm a completionist.
I got my copy from Special Reserve Games on their second chance sale. I'm very excited to have secured a physical copy of this really, really awesome game. It's top-down obstacle courses. You're a gorilla, and you're just trying to escape different levels and killing enemies and dodging their bullets. It's very, very chaotic fun, and I highly recommend it. Nice little steelbook case that it came with, and the retail release. Miitopia. This particular game came out on the 3DS as well. So here you have the Switch version. I'm assuming it's more the same stuff. The Ninja Saviors, Return of the Warriors. Man, I must have beaten this game like 10 times back in 2020, I think. It's just my type of game. Side-scrolling beat-em-up with retro-style graphics, and it's just extremely addicting. I played it over and over again. It's really fun. It's a port of an older game, that sort of thing. I'm not too sure of the history, really, but awesome, awesome game. One of my favorite beat-em-ups of all time, I would actually say. And it comes with all sorts of stuff on the inside, a poster, I think some character cards, that sort of thing. It's pretty cool. Some stickers. And yeah, check this game out if you're into retro beat-em-ups, because this is for sure a really, really cool one. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, the Super Edition, the full game, supposedly, with 4 DLC packs. This game kind of piqued my interest because I've heard pretty decent reviews about the fighting game, which this is. It's not really the full game, actually, because there's still DLC coming out for it, which you have to pay for, which I did because I need to have all of the characters. It's pretty mechanically sound, nothing too crazy here, but it uses kind of that tag team style fighting, which is pretty sweet. You choose 3 characters of the Power Rangers universe, and there's some glaring omissions for characters that are not included in the game. I'm sure they're going to cash out later and throw them in at some point. But yeah, this version actually has Ryu and Chun-Li from Street Fighters. That's kind of weird and cool at the same time. Monster Hunter Rise. Man, this game, I must have played it. I've said this various times on my channel. Played it for like 3 months straight. Didn't sleep, didn't eat, quit my job, and just played this game because it's really, really awesome. Ion Fury from Limited Run Games. Let's see what's inside this one. A big ol' sticker and a manual. This is a Doom clone sort of game, you know, with that sort of aesthetic. First-person shooter, retro style. And it was pretty awesome. Violent, and there's blood and all that sort of thing, but I got pretty far into it, and then I had to fight a gunship boss, which is just an absolute bullet sponge, and it kind of I didn't like it. It sucked. I'm stuck on it, and I need to beat it at some point. Untitled Goose Game by House House. What a bunch of weird names all in one here. But yeah, very peculiar game in which you are a duck and you're kind of wreaking havoc and pestering villagers and city goers and that sort of thing. And you have different tasks to accomplish. It's physics-based and kind of silly. Love it. I beat the game, but then there's like a new game plus where you're tasked with some different things. And I still need to do that, but this one also comes with some stuff on the inside. And it's, yeah, it's a pretty peculiar game, but it's nice and fun. I got the twin pack here, Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Very nostalgic games for me. Obviously, what is there to say about Part 7, an iconic JRPG. 8 I actually have more nostalgia for some reason. I kind of liked the soundtrack better, and I was not as small of a child, so I have more memories really of this game. But this one also. And I was working on Part 8, and it's just a massive game, so I kind of ditched it because I was playing other stuff. This has just a single cartridge. Look at that. Wow. A blank game case on the inside, but it has both games included, baked into a single cartridge, so that's always really nice. Moving out, this one was featured on one of my latest pickups videos, just a silly couch co-op. You can play it single player as well, where you're a moving company and you have to lumber around all sorts of big, heavy furniture items and complete different tasks within a certain amount of time and that sort of thing. It's very chaotic, and you can potentially divorce your significant other if, you know, things don't go according to plan. That sort of game. It's really fun. Panzer Paladin, another game that I've extensively covered. This one was from Limited Run Games. Comes with its full color manual and a reversible cover. Yeah, you know about this one. Just, is it 8-bit? Maybe 16-bit? Action platformer. You're a mech. You can eject, be the pilot, that sort of thing. It's really cool. Pokemon Legends Arceus. I hope that this is the foundation for Pokemon games to come. It adopted a Monster Hunter style open world, broken up into different sections, and I'm having, well, I had lots of fun with it, and then I, you know, got distracted again, but it doesn't include all the Pokemon. At some point with the new games that are going to come out, I hope that they do include all the Pokemon, or at least the ability to collect all of them. That would be nice. Please do that. Wonder Boy, Asha in Monster World. I think this game was just kind of excluded from my pickups or something because I can't really find it in any of my videos, but I've had it for a while here. This is part of the Wonder Boy / Monster Boy series, and it's one of the newest iterations, or at least newest remasters of an old game, of a very phenomenal retro platformer action game. And just really fond of the art style here, and it's supposed to be a pretty neat game. Carrion. This one was covered just recently in a pickups video. A reverse horror video game is what they call it. So you play as the monster and you kill scientists in a facility. Here on the back says stock, consume, grow, evolve. That's a pretty good way to summarize the sort of antics that you can get into on this pixelated 16-bit style game. It's really awesome, and I'm glad to have it physically here. I already have it downloaded digitally, so this one is going to stay sealed. Killer Queen Black, a weird couch co-op / PvP competitive MOBA game. We're going to blow through the next few games quite quickly because they were already featured on my pickups video. Balan Wonderworld. Some people love it, some people hate it. It looks very weird. Most people hate it. 3D platformer collectathon thing, I think. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Just an essential remaster of a game that some people don't like too much in the Zelda series. Never played it. Can't speak to that. Cris Tales, an RPG, turn-based RPG with a very distinctive art style here. Grid-based combat, something like that. Okinawa Rush, 2D 16-bit beat 'em up of sorts with complex button inputs like Hadoukens and that sort of thing. Played it for a little bit. Don't know what it's about much, but the aesthetic is really cool and it's kind of an obscure game, so I wanted to pick it up. Double Dragon Neon from Limited Run Games. I still have it sealed. I plan on streaming this at some point because it's just, you know, your classic beat 'em up, and I'm looking forward to playing this one. Astral Chain. A lot of fans of this game and people hoping that there is a sequel. I'm sure there will be. Haven't played it myself, but it's like some Bayonetta style action with a ghostly entity which helps you between dimensions and that sort of thing. Check out Hyper Light Drifter. I have the boxed edition that Special or Limited Run Games was doing. I think they had some old stock and I've been wanting to get this game. So here I have this special edition that comes with some stuff. I've covered this in earlier pickups video. Haven't played the game yet. It looks really cool. Love the art style. Alright, moving on to some other games. Abzu from Super Rare Games. This game got the physical treatment here and it has a very nice sheen on the cover. Underwater Zen-like exploration game. Came with some cards showcasing some underwater friends here. Very nice fanfare from Super Rare Games. I know this game was released on PlayStation Plus, so I have that downloaded on the technically superior console, and I'll keep this physical version sealed. Animal Crossing New Horizons.
The game which came out before the pandemic.
And kept me busy for very many months. I have since abandoned my island, and all my neighbors are probably dead. I kind of miss them. Yeah, this is one of the best Animal Crossing games in my opinion in terms of lots of stuff. But there's people that complain about the customizability or the repetitiveness of it, and that other past Animal Crossing games have had more dialogue options and random events that happen. I don't really mind. It was a blast playing for that many months with my wife. She cohabits in my island, and it's pretty funny. I have this villager named Pashmina, and we just absolutely trashed her front yard, so it looks like she lives in a dump. Bubble Bobble for friends. Didn't a virtual reality sequel to this game get announced recently? It looks super weird. I don't know, but this is part 4 of the Bubble Bobble series, and it's a puzzle platformer game. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. Some 3D graphics in this one. You can co-op it. Bravely Default 2 from Square Enix. Part 1 came out on the 3DS, and then some other game came out in between this one. But yeah, this is just the sequel. Yeah, traditional JRPG style game. Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer featuring The Legend of Zelda. This is a peculiar rhythm-based top-down action game featuring characters from the Zelda universe, so that was pretty unique. There is an actual Crypt of the Necrodancer game that has nothing to do with Zelda, and that one made quite a splash in the indie community, so they did this little collaboration here. From Limited Run, we have Castlevania Anniversary Collection. It includes several games, came with its little collectible card here. Let's see which ones are included. We have
Castlevania, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania 4 Castlevania Bloodlines, Kid Dracula, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, and the Castlevania Adventure.
So a handful of games. I'm kind of excited for Kid Dracula. That one is not talked about too much nowadays. Clubhouse Games, 51 games, worldwide classics, release, a first-party release from Nintendo. Yep, it includes 51 games such as like Backgammon and Solitaire and Tanks and Marbles and Doodads and, I don't know, Tic-Tac-Toe? First party Nintendo title, that's why I got it. And maybe if I go on a road trip on an RV and I don't have actual real life checkers, I can play this game. Collection of Mana. Square Enix again. This includes 3 games, such as Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana. I think it's the first time Trials of Mana has been translated or something, because it was exclusive to Japan and it never was translated. But here it is, all 3 on one disc cartridge.
Cooking Mama! Cookstar!
The only reason I got this game, and the only reason it will remain sealed, was there was some sort of controversy. I think the game developer didn't want the publisher to print the game and put it on shelves just yet, but they did so anyway without their permission. And, you know, some copies made their way out to retail shelves, and people were claiming that there was some bit of code within the game that was mining cryptocurrency or something weird like that. But anyways, I've never played any of the Cooking Mama games, and I don't really plan on playing them, but here's that this game with a little interesting backstory. Fight Crab! I've talked about this one before. Just a goofy, physics-based crab brawling game. 3D graphics and all that sort of thing here. You swing around some melee weapons, and you're a crustacean. That's really weird. This is a Japanese physical release, and I still have it sealed. I'll play it at some point, though. Final Fantasy IX, the Switch release here. I remember spectating my brother play this game on the PlayStation 1. Obviously, this came out after Part 8, and he didn't really like it. Like, the main protagonist was a little kid with a monkey tail, and that was kind of weird, and I'm pretty sure my brother never beat that game either. But here I have it because the Switch also got Final Fantasy X and X-2, the one with all the chicks in it, the HD remaster. I think both games are baked into a single cartridge, and, you know, Walmart had it in their bargain bin for $30, so might as well get it. Have a small little Final Fantasy collection on my Switch. Game Builder Garage. Nintendo's version of Little Big Planet and Dreams, kind of just like a sandbox creation tool, and you can share stuff online, I think, with strangers or only friend code friends. You know how archaic Nintendo can be sometimes, but here's this one. I played it for like 5 minutes and then I was like, that's neat, and then I put it away and never played it again. Here we have Gigantic Army from Pixel Heart. I got this copy from PlayAsia. Apparently there are only 1,500 physical copies, if you can make that out in a little holographic sticker. It doesn't want to focus, but it says that this is number 638 of 1,500. A very challenging side-scrolling action mech game, kind of like Assault Suit Lanos, which that game itself takes inspiration from other mech-like games. Had some fun with it. It's a pretty solid pickup. From Limited Run Games, Grandia HD Collection. This one has Grandia 1 and Grandia 2, some old school JRPGs. Don't know much about them, but I really like the visual style, and they're more likely than not massive games that take hundreds of hours to complete. So I don't know when I'll get to this one, but it looks pretty cool. Hades. This game made some waves. A very awesome isometric top-down roguelite game, and I've heard nothing but good things. Played it very briefly just to kind of see what all the hype is about, and the visuals are really cool, and it's supposed to be extremely addicting, so I'm pretty excited to get into this one at some point. Hard West, a very peculiar turn-based strategy cowboy game. Haven't been able to get into this one. I did check it out for an hour, and it kind of didn't make a really great impression on me, but it's pretty peculiar. Here's a European copy. Little Nightmares 2. This was a gift, and I don't have part 1. I know that this is like a side-scrolling game with some morbid aesthetics and that sort of deal. Yeah. Luigi's Mansion 3, an essential. I beat part 1. Didn't check out Dark Moon or part 2. I think Dark Moon is part 2, is it not? Yeah, haven't played this game just yet, but it's a must-have. Mario Tennis Aces. Figured I'd get this game just to play it with the wife. And yeah, I mean, just your standard tennis here, nothing too crazy. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. I thought this was going to be a typical Monster Hunter game. It's actually a turn-based RPG-like game, similar to Pokemon, actually, with nice cel-shaded graphics. Night Trap from Limited Run. This game is very peculiar. One of a handful of those interactive movie games in which, like, you're watching FMV and you interact with the actual video, some button prompts that you get, and yeah, you're like you're this chick, right? Or you're the guy that controls this house, and you try and get rid of the baddies before they get to everyone. And yeah, it's a weird one. Nippon Marathon. I've talked about this game, I believe, on the channel a few times before. It's a very rough around the edges, crudely executed racing game, but you're racing on foot on like 7 different levels. It has a story mode with that Japanese humor that I'm really a fan of. And check out some videos online. It's such a weird, very, very Japanese game. And these are some of the characters here, like Snuguru Maestro and Jazzy J, I think his name is. He's dressed like a lobster. You have this dude wearing a little Japanese schoolgirl outfit. Her name is Elizabeth Nishiboru or something like that, and she's dressed like a narwhal. But yeah, I played this game obsessively for about a month for some reason, just because I'm really into those weird physics-based games. It's somewhat physics-based, like the Wipeouts and that sort of thing. You kind of ragged all around, but it really entertained me for a solid month, and it's good multiplayer fun as well. Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath HD. I'm not an Oddworld guy. I'm not too familiar with the series, and I think it's a series that I want to get into. It has a lot of gaming acumen, and it has its old school fans, but this one is a slightly different one, and it was a gift from my lovely mother-in-law. It's a first-person shooter type deal where you have to, I don't know, do some stuff. I'm not too familiar with it, but yeah, it was a gift. So now the floodgates have opened because I need to get all the other Oddworld games now. Ori, the Collection. This one has also been shown off on a Game Pickups video, I believe. It includes Ori Part 1 and then Part 2. It says digital soundtracks and some art cards are included here. These titles have received some high praise from Metroidvania lovers. They say that the aesthetics are also very nice. Just some 2D action platforming goodness here. And I've heard nothing but good things, so I'll check this one out at some point. Pikmin 3, an essential game. Well, Part 3 came out on the Wii U, and here is the port for the Switch. I know that these Pikmin games are highly sought after. Look at that, that's really cool on the inside. So I decided to pick myself up a copy before they're hard to come by. And yeah, it's a great series. I have fond memories, well, maybe not so much fond memories of Part 1 when I got my GameCube that fateful Christmas and Super Smash Bros. Melee. I played Melee all night, and Christmas morning I wanted to check out Pikmin 1. Little did I know how much I would become attached to these little guys, and as soon as I saw them being gulped down by massive predators and their agonizing screams as they would die and just like perish either by drowning in small puddles of water or catching on fire or just being eaten alive by bigger predators. And the fact that there's a time that you basically have to beat every single day. All that stuff really scarred me as a child, so much so that I cried that morning just because I didn't like what I was seeing, and just, man, it was horrible. But now I got to go back to these real-time strategy games, and this is Nintendo's take on a real-time strategy game, and there's lots of fans. Can't wait for part 4. I'm sure that's somewhere in the pipeline. Ring Fit Adventure and the Ring-Con accessory workout peripheral. Very innovative stuff here from Nintendo, as per usual. I checked this game out at a buddy's house, and we did some of the fitness mini games, and I gotta say, man, that accessory, the Ring-Con, offers some really nice resistance band-like exercise. And if you're 10 trillion pounds, maybe this game can help you out. I've actually heard some pretty astonishing stories of people that have gotten in shape playing this game. So it's a nice little novelty to add to my collection. And I heard the story mode is actually pretty creative and engrossing. So maybe if you work out hard enough, you can be like the bad guy here. Yeah. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the complete edition from Limited Run. And its little trading card here. Very nice. A very tough beat 'em up, actually. I've played this one because this is the game that sparked the whole controversy over DRM and how you lose access to digital games if you don't own them physically at some point down the line, right? Like this game was added to the Xbox marketplace and then it was delisted, and the game was hard to come across because of that. But then Limited Run was like, nope, let's put it out physically. So it kind of has that history behind it. And yeah, it comes with all sorts of stuff. And it's fun. I love beat 'em ups, and this is a tough one, so I'm gonna need to play cooperatively with Danny so that we could get past the game. But the levels are actually pretty long, and they're all pretty challenging. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. The sticker says, bonus FU, free additional content. Story time again, and a story that I've told before. When I bought, I think it was called like NBA Hoops or something digitally on the Nintendo Switch when it had just come out. You know, I was obviously looking for some games to play on it. They said that if you downloaded that NBA game, you would somehow guarantee yourself a copy of Shaq Fu Part 2, Legend Reborn. Surely, I thought, it's not going to be a physical version, and it wasn't. Eventually, the publisher gave anyone who adopted that NBA game a digital code for Shaq Fu Legend Reborn, which is a beat 'em up, a sequel to the infamous Shaq Fu Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo game, I think, which is just a terrible game from what I've heard. But it's a beat 'em up, and somehow they decided to make part 2, and here it is. I just got myself a physical copy, and I'll just keep it sealed because I do have access to it digitally thanks to that code that I got. But I actually played it for a short amount of time, and it's not the most terrible thing ever. You know, it's not amazing or extremely polished or anything, but it's not a piece of poop. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. This is part 3. Shin Megami Tensei is the daddy of the Persona JRPGs, right? Is it? Right? Published by Atlas. These are supposed to be fantastic JRPGs, and because I actually got Shin Megami Tensei 5, which the first run of these games came in this like slipcover, and this is actually a steelbook, and the art is just awesome. You know, this is the most recent Shin Megami Tensei game, just a traditional JRPG. Because I got this, I was like, you know what? Let me get the other game that's also on the Switch and see what all the hubbub is about, because fans of this series, Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, do not shut up about how good these games are. So let me check them out at some point. All right, winding down here, we have a very amazing, probably the best game on the Switch. It's Slide Stars, and it was only $9.96 at Walmart. I wonder why. I wonder why this game was that cheap. You know, as amazing as this game is, I have no idea what it's about. I think you get like on a river raft, and it's like some sort of obstacle course racing game. But yeah, be sure to stop what you're doing and stop playing any game that you're playing right now, and make sure to check out Slide Stars. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer from Limited Run. This game is now part of like some sort of dual pack with Star Wars Stormtrooper Command or something like that. I remember getting this game digitally for my Nintendo Switch, and then they started releasing physical copies, and I was like, ah, dang it. It's actually a really, really cool racing game. You know, the pod racers from the Star Wars universe, and the sense of speed is awesome. It's actually really, really cool. They slightly remastered the graphics. It still looks like a retro 3D polygonal game, yes, but they cleaned it up a bit here, and if you want some wholesome racing fun, honestly, this is not a bad pickup, and it even comes with a little manual. Super Mario 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury. Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U was probably my favorite title on that console, and to this day might be my favorite 3D Mario platformer. I like how it's split up in different levels, right? It's not like a giant open world thing, it's just level based, very level based. Each world has its own theme. You know, just the stuff that we're used to here, but they decided to port this game over to the Switch and add this DLC, or this extra chunk here of content known as Bowser's Fury, which is Mario's foray into an open world style game. It's a very short experience, but I really hope it's setting the foundation for future Mario games. My imagination is going wild just thinking about an entire, you know, full-fledged title that uses the same format as Bowser's Fury. That would just be absolutely amazing. I really like what they did here, and it's an excellent addition to an already excellent game. Really, really good stuff here. From Devolver Digital, they've already been, some of their games have been featured on this video, but here we have the Swords of Ditto, Moromo's Curse, a game aesthetically similar to It'll Do, kind of like a top-down Zelda-like action game with some cartoony graphics. I don't know much of this one, but it has something to do with Adult Swim, so, you know, there's that crude humor involved, and I'm sure it's pretty funny, and yeah. Aw, man, I forgot to include these couple games. Unfortunately, my big box steelbook edition of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is still in my hometown, and then I got the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, the trilogy here. This is going to remain sealed because I do have the digital copy. Sorry about the lighting. Anyways, Trials of Mana. Kind of its second feature on this video. You saw the Collection of Mana a little bit previous, but this is actually like the 3D version of that game that was never localized in the Western territories or whatever. So here we have just kind of a remake of Trials of Mana by Square Enix. Turrican Flashback. Congratulations, Turrican. It's your 30th anniversary, I guess. And this is actually a collection game, which includes Super Turrican, Turrican, Turrican 2, and Mega Turrican. I've always heard of the Turrican title in gaming, but I never really knew what it was about exactly. And I'm still confused to this day because I tried playing this game and I'm not sure if the levels are procedurally generated or what, but things kind of get switched up every playthrough and it's just like a 2D action platformer. You're this guy and you kill other things. It's pretty neat. Yeah, that's all I got to say about this one. Valfaris. Yes, I beat this game this year. Excellent 10 out of 10 side-scrolling action game. It's like 16-bit, I guess you can call it. The aesthetics are just really awesome. The music is awesome. The action is top-notch. Really, really good stuff by Merge. Love that publisher. I can't wait for the sequel, which is actually going to be a shoot 'em up, I believe. And just an excellent, excellent game. If you're a fan of, I don't know, Contra, maybe, in a way. Just a level-based action game here, and it's just, I can't recommend it enough. Streamed the whole thing, and I beat it, and it was just a really good time. And last but not least, we have Wallachia, Reign of Dracula. So I actually gave this game a fair shot. I played the first 2 levels and it is just very, very unforgiving. A tough game with some big old sprites, right? It's kind of like Castlevania-like, but difficulty levels akin to Contra, I would say. A lot of memorization involved to see where enemy placements are, and just the second level's boss, man, that guy's a real jerk. I don't think I'll ever beat him, but it was so hard that I actually had to stop streaming it because I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna beat the game. But yeah, that actually wraps up the second half of my Switch collection. Let me know what you guys think. Am I missing any titles that are just must-haves for probably one of my favorite consoles? And there's some other essentials that are not featured on this video. They will be part of my next video, which will be a pickups video. So there's some Switch titles included there as well. But let me know what you guys thought of this video in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye.